Hello! Hey guys, it's Matt with the YouTube channel BleepinJeep, and today I want to do a walk around of the Scorpion Crawler project. It's not finished, not even close, but you've been asking for it. So, if you're not subscribed yet, you should be subscribed because we have the best off-road how-to content on the interwebs. So, hit the subscribe button. Let's get started. Alright guys, so here she is as she sits. Now I want to start off with a walk around video as if you've never seen it before, but I do have some previous walk around videos that you should probably check out anyway, and I have a lot of how-to videos because pretty much everything I've done on this I have a how-to video on it. Also, if you're not on the Facebook page and the Instagram, you should be, because I release a lot of stuff over there that I can't get on video. So, let's start somewhere. Let's start at the front. Running 40-inch Super Swampers on raceline beadlock wheels, ORIs all around, 14-inch ORIs in the front, 16-inch ORIs in the rear. The axle is not in there right now. The axle is over here on the table. I still need somebody to come help me get that sucker off the table. I've got this front bumper, which I made in a video. I did all the tubing work. Had a buddy of mine come over and TIG weld all the tubing work. He did a great job. His name is Brad. The welds look awesome, Brad. Buddy of mine, Jeremy, came over, helped me make that piece of steel right there. So the only plate that I'm going to have on here, or the only sheet metal, is going to be that right there and those two little triangles right there, and of course the hood and the roof. So my plan is to paint the whole thing mostly black. The hood, the roof, those panels, the dash, and the console are going to be sparkly bright metallic green. I've painted the underneath with gloss black paint. Not sure yet what I'm going to do with the interior, but I'm thinking about doing that in gloss black too, and just putting some floor mats down instead of rhino liner or whatever. So I'm using the stock motor. I have gotten some Corbeau bucket seats for the front. I wanted Corbeau's bucket seats for the rear, but I ended up having to go with the bench because the bucket seats were just too wide to fit. That's 40-inch bench, and the bench actually folds up, so you have storage underneath here. So the battery is underneath. I made these boxes. Let's see. Trying to brighten it up here. Come on. There we go. You can probably see it better on the other side, but I made these boxes so that it will be very similar to stock storage on a Cherokee, except much larger. Okay, let's come around to the back here. This is a custom gas tank that was made out of aluminum, and it's going to hold about 18 or 19 gallons. My buddy Brad helped me out on that gas tank too. He's a TIG welder by trade, so really good at welding, which I am not that good. Let me show you the dash. So the dash is just made out of sheet metal. I made a video on the bending up the console, so that was pretty much very similar to the dash. And I also made a video on making these shifter knobs. That's automatic transmission, and then that's for the transfer case over there. And what else? Oh, I've got my cooker down there. That's my burrito cooker. I have a video on that too. Here's that part that I was telling you about right there. Let's look at it from this side, see if I can brighten everything up real quick. So I've got my amp under there. Gotta have an amp, gotta have a sound system when you want to be rocking out in the woods. So I've got quite a bit of storage under there. I just got some cup holders in the mail. I'm thinking about putting 2 right there and 2 right there. Let's see, what else? Still have some work to do on that console. I gotta make the armrest part and have it fold back, padded. Everybody hates on me for what I've chosen to do with the axles, but I chose to do narrow width Dana 44s. I know. Everybody says they're gonna break. If they do, then I'll just get a bigger axle. No big deal. But my whole plan from the beginning was to have a narrow width vehicle and lightweight axles. So, I'm sure there's a lot more crap that you want to know about. Let's get to the questions. Alright guys, let's start off with the questions. Now, if you're not on Facebook or Instagram, you should be, and follow the real BleepinJeep on Instagram, and the Facebook page is just BleepinJeep. That way you can have access to these questions and stuff like this. So the first question comes from MattKD101 from Instagram. He says, what tubing bender do you use and how are you bending your sheet metal? Well, the tubing bender I use is the Pro Tools 105 tubing bender, and it's got the swag off-road kit that has the air over hydraulic cylinder from Harbor Freight. And I've made a few videos on this. You should check it out about bending tubing, and there's one I did on the roof rack of the Zombie Jeep a long time ago. So as far as bending sheet metal, I just had a video come out today or yesterday or whenever you're watching this, a week ago maybe, but you should check that video out. And basically all I do is just use my table. I clamp the sheet metal down to the table. It's 18 gauge, and then I just bend it by hand, and if I need to crease it real, have a real sharp crease in it, I'll just use a hammer and hammer that out. Okay, now from Facebook, I have a question from Bobby Ledford Jr. 2 questions. How many man hours do you have into this build? And second, if somebody planned on going in the same route as you, how much money would they be looking at sinking into a project like this? Man hours is a really hard question to answer because I come down here probably 3 to 4 times a week to my shop, so almost every working day. And I work probably between 4 to 8 hours, but not all of that is working on the Jeep. I have to clean up every morning. I spend about 30 minutes cleaning and pushing a broom around, and then I'm making videos for you guys a lot of the time. And so it's really hard for me to determine how many hours I have, but I've been working on it for a year now. Let's say if you average about 2 to 3 hours a day, maybe 3 to 4 days a week, you can calculate that out and figure it out. I really am not sure other than to tell you that. As far as how much money you can sink into the project, that's a hard one too, because do you count the sponsors that have given me stuff? Do you count how much that costs? If yes, then this build in particular is probably going to be between 20 and 30 grand by the time I'm finished. But if you didn't go with all the bells and whistles, let's say you wanted used wheels and tires and your stock seats, and you wanted to keep the dash and the console and all that, and maybe use the stock gas tank, you would be looking at a lot less. I mean, you could do this same project if you had, 5 grand or 10 grand without having all those bells and whistles and the shiny stuff. Okay, next question, Bob Brown. Are you keeping the stock engine or planning any major upgrades? On my last crawler, I had a stock straight 6. I loved it. I didn't have any problems with it. I think, my opinion is if you have the right gearing, you can go anywhere. So this is geared super low. On my last one I wasn't geared this low, but I'm going to see if I like it, and I do not have any plans on upgrading the engine. I just don't see any reason to. This I'm not sure about this one, but my last crawler got me everywhere that I wanted to go. Okay, next question from Facebook, Alex Hamilton. As far as color or protection, will you be using a liner like Monster Liner or going with conventional auto paint? I kind of answered this a little bit earlier, but I'm just going to use this Tractor Supply tractor paint. It's an oil-based paint on the undercarriage. I'm probably going to try and use that on the roll bars and maybe even the interior. The reason I don't like the liners for the interior is because they have so much grit in them that you get dirt in there and it gets you can't get that dirt out. Like, it just looks like dirt after a while. So I'm thinking, not sure yet, but I'm thinking about just painting it with that tractor paint on the interior and putting some floor mats down. See how that goes. On the roll cage, I'll probably do the same with the black, and then, like I said, on the top and the pretty much the top pieces are going to be metallic green. Okay, Burt Morales, how long until it's done roughly? Well, that's a hard question too, because my plan was to be done by spring. Then that didn't happen. Then my plan was to be done by midsummer. That's not going to happen. So now it's really just up in the air. But there is a ride that I go to every year called the Dixie Run, and it is in late September. I am really pushing to make that ride, so I am hoping that it's done by then. One of the other questions that I get often is, why do you keep taking the seats in and out, and all of this other stuff in and out? Well, that's just the way it goes when you build something. For instance, the seats have to come in and out to check for fitment. I have to sit in them, make sure everything's right, then have to take them out, maybe do some welding, then have to put it back in, make sure that everything's good. Then I have to take them out for maybe some painting, then I have to put them back in, make sure that the console switches are where I need them so that I can reach them, then I have to take it back out, put it back in for seat belts, and by the time this thing is done, the seats are going to have been in and out 50 times, and that's just the way it goes. When you build something, you have to take it in and out for basically for fitment and for checking, for painting, for welding. I don't want to burn my seats up because I'm welding in there, that kind of thing. Okay, last question from Nick Risley. He asks, I see a lot of switches marked out. Let us know what kind of electrical goodies you may have in store. That's a good question. Come over here and take a look. Okay, this is my view from the driver's seat. You can see I've marked out where the steering wheel comes right there, and I had it done on the other side. My plan from the beginning was to keep things super simple. The more crap I keep adding, the harder that plan is. But this is my dash so far, and I think that's going to be pretty much it, other than maybe a circuit board over there with the relays and fuses on the inside of the dash over there. So let's take a look here. We have my radio. I've got a marine radio, which is going to go right there. My iPhone, which is going to go right here. And I've got a RAM mount that I'm going to modify, and it's going to come out of here, so there will be a little spring that holds the phone right in there. I've got my heater control. I'm using the stock heater control, and I've got some I got like a 9-volt plug here, a USB plug here, and an auxiliary plug for the radio, and a USB plug that plugs into the radio. I've got right here is going to be temperature switches, so I've got one for the power steering and one for the transmission. And then my CB is going to go hang right there. I've got the one that doesn't have the box. It's all in the handle. And let's take a look at these switches here. So first up I've got my headlight, which is just going to be some LED pods probably, then the dimmer for that. I've got my light bar, and then a dimmer for that. I've got my rock lights, and I'm going to have eyes on the front of this thing, little round eyes. Kill fan, and then I've got some seat heaters over there because I have no doors. I want to be warm in the winter. Over here I've got a place for a couple more switches that I haven't figured out yet. There's a one spot over there for another switch, and under here, you can't really see it, but right there, there's an on-off for the winch, and then the in and out for the winch, and a light for the winch. And the reason I put it over there is when you're sitting here in front of the steering wheel winching, you're going to be leaning over, looking out the driver window here, and one arm or one hand is going to be on the steering wheel, and you need to be able to control the winch. So that'll be a perfect spot right here. And if it were like way over here, then you couldn't do that because you'd be having to lean way over here instead of looking where you're going. Let's see what else. Right here, I'm going to make some holes right there and have the heat come out of those two holes because I don't have AC, but I do have the heater. And the very, very important stuff goes down here. So right there, I've got my locker. Right there, electric locker. I've got the brake lock, which is just like an emergency brake. And then I've got my master battery switch. So that's the master kill switch. In case I were to roll over, kill that, shuts down all the power. And of course the 2 cup holders. And right here is the console, which I still need to make the hole for. And I've got 2 speakers on either side. I think I said that already. And I think that's pretty much it for the dash. I made this video of the shifters, like I told you earlier. So other than that, I'm going to have, like I said, that relay panel right there. I think I'm going to put that right behind there and maybe have a cutout where I can access it. And I'm going to have amplifier and subwoofer and 2 more speakers somewhere. I still have to figure out where to put those. Okay guys, well if you still have questions, please leave those in the comments below. I'll try to answer them all. And hit the thumbs up if you enjoyed this video. Tell your friends about us, subscribe, check out our Patreon. If we've ever helped you out in the past, then you can support us at patreon.com/BleepinJeep. You can also buy a t-shirt on our store. We sell t-shirts like this one, the Jeep fan, and a bunch of other ones, and stickers, all kinds of great stuff for you. We'll see you in the next video.